Hi there. I have noticed many students struggle in their research proposals, thesis writing in different level of streams. It can be degree program, diploma program, MBA, so-called and so on. Thus, it provides me an opportunity to share my knowledge, experience, which may help in your research proposals. Let me take you through today a very interesting points by using simple words called typolymer. Let me share my screen. Let me start with you how to write research proposal. Actually, before we move into the topic, let me just explain you what is a research proposal. It's simply structured formal document that explain what is your plan, obviously your research topic, why it is so worth. You need to justify your justification, how you plan to investigate it. It's simply your approach. Purpose of the research proposal. Actually, why we need research proposal? It is to convince the research supervisor. You need to get research supervisor's approval. Sometimes a committee or university, they may have different committee. So you need to provide your proposal and you need to get their approval. Suitability. That need to be fulfill the requirement of degree program, maybe diploma program, whatever program you engage. So you need to fulfill their requirement. And the time management, it can be a time constraint, resource constraint. So based on that, we need to make a proposal and we need to comply all this. Let me now start the topic. The word typolymer, you can see this. The T stands for title page. What is basically include the proposed title, your name, supervisor's name, the institute or the department name. For example, I start with the impact of employee engagement on sewing automation success in apparel manufacturing Sri Lanka. Likewise, the title should be. Let's moving further into that. Introduction. This is the pitch of your research work. So make sure you introduce the topic properly. Give background information, context. What kind of a research is this? What is the background of this? Why you need to investigate on this? Likewise, you will have to explain a bit of your why. Let me just explain that the problem statement, identifying and justifying the word using ICBT. In problem statement, I take the same example. Apparel sector in Sri Lanka shows low integration of automation due to traditional and conventional manufacturing, leading to low productivity whilst engaging massive workforce. So by looking into this research statement, the problem statement, let me start with ICBT again. I stand for issue. By looking at this problem statement, we can stress on the low integration of sewing automation. So it's an issue there. So we have to identify likewise the issue. Then C stands for consequences. The consequences in this topic, again we can stress on that, underline the low productivity. It shows the low productivity, scarcity of skilled operators and state-of-the-art manufacturing. So thus it is missing with this the conventional manufacturing. So these are the consequences of this kind of a topic. The B stands for boundary. In this particular topic, I mentioned apparel sector in Sri Lanka. This is your boundary. T, the last letter of ICBT. T stands for task. In this particular example, we conduct a research study to identify the relationships with corrective measures. So that is how we elaborate our topic with the problem statement whilst identifying issue, consequences, boundaries, and task. Moving further into O, objective. Before we identifying the objective, we come up with the research questions or question. So let me just take you through research question. We have to find question or questions in order to accomplish the objectives. It is the question around which you will center your research. So basically, your research work center with these questions. The questions should be clear. The audience should be understand easily. The questions should be focused. It should be narrow enough to answer. It should not be lengthy question, but it should be narrow enough to answer question. Concise, short as possible. Express with few words. It should not be like very lengthy questions with half a A4 page. Yet it should be in a very simple manner, can express in few words. And it should be some sort of a complex. It means answer should not be yes and no. It should be a real meaningful answer. Let me provide some example. Considering the same example, we can derive like questions like below. RQ stands for research question. What are the consequences in swing automation success? This is one question we're going to drill down. RQ2. What extent affect employee engagement toward the automation success? The next, how strong the relationship with swing automation success and employee engagement? In this question, we come up with the 4 questions. The last, what strategies can be defined to enhance swing automation success? Let's moving on to objectives. So basically, after build up your research question, now we need to transform them into statement manner. So you can see the example here now. To investigate consequences in swing automation success. To explore the effectiveness of swing automation success on employee engagement. To examine the relationship with swing automation success and employee engagement. To define strategies to enhance swing automation. So likewise, so first we built up research questions, then we transform them into a meaningful manner as objectives. Now let's move on to LI, which is stand for literature review. And in your research proposal, you need to stress more and more onto this, and you need to spend very good time or quality time on literature review. And let me just explain what is literature. It is piece of academic writing demonstrate knowledge and understanding on specific topic, context and arena. What other scholars, other researchers been done. So basically we need to associate those research documents so we can gain and understand the existing knowledge. There can be debates, negative, positive, and some of arguments. So basically we need to stress more and more onto literature review to identify what kind of a causal effect on your variables. Moving on to ME, which define your approach, your practical steps. research type: quantitative research, qualitative research, or even mixed method. Population and sample. What is your population and sample size? You may use Kerchief-Morgan in order to identify the sample size. Random sampling, stratified sampling, systematic sampling, so-called and so on. You can deploy research method. What kind of tools, procedures you can adapt in this? Whether you deploy research questionnaire, survey, or you engage in even interviews. What kind of data collection and analysis techniques? Whether you use SPSS, Smart PLs, or even Minitab. And similarly, practicalities. What kind of difficulties you faced? How much time you spent on data collection? The potential obstacles and how you address them. So those kind of things also you may define or stress or even express in your research proposal under methodology. Further moving on to methodology, we need to develop conceptual framework in order to identify the causal effect. In this example, you can see dependent variable swing automation success and the independent variables employee engagement. Similarly, it further categorized to employee competency, employee motivation, top management commitment. Likewise, we need to develop conceptual framework to identify the causal effect, the cause and effect against each and variables. Now, we need to develop hypothesis after being done the conceptual framework. So, in order to test, we need to have hypothesis, null and alternative. For example, H1A, the alternative hypothesis, demonstrate there is an impact of swing automation success. So similarly, if it is no negative, that is for the null hypothesis. Now moving on to referencing. What is referencing? So it refers to how you acknowledge and the contribution on the other writers, researchers. You use different techniques. Even in the literature review, you used so much other referencing. So in this, we have standard referencing, Harvard referencing, APA, and likewise. So you can log on and see these websites and see Google Scholar where my research publication. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Thank you.